Welcome to Elevated Life, Real Wellness and Transformation podcast, where we walk alongside the internally driven individual as they transform their life through wellness, movement, mindset, and personal responsibility. If that's you, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Today, we're going to jump right in with our recently ended journey with Retatrutide.
Yes.
So let's start with, what the hell is Retatrutide?
Well, it has Tide on the back of it. It's not Tide laundry detergent, but we decided to do a cycle of a peptide, right? And let's talk about how that started and why we decided to do that.
Yeah, how far back do you want to go?
I don't care. Let people know. Because I know right now people are like, oh my gosh, they, did a peptide. Either they're like, oh, cool, we want to know this information, or out comes Judge Johnny to,
Well, I think it initially started with just because, in the interest of full disclosure, I guess I'm in my eye. Retatrutide is a GLP-1.
Yeah.
And so obviously GLP-1s have been, around, Ozempic being the big one, if people aren't familiar with the term GLP-1. Been around for a while. So it's something that we've been researching just in terms of, we're just in that space, obviously, but clients have, we've had different clients that have been on it or thinking about it or something. So it was something that we wanted to understand. So it came about before we even knew, the whole thing came about before we even knew about Retatrutide specifically, just with understanding what GLP-1s are and what they're doing.
Yeah. I over a year ago, started doing some research because when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, it's a joke. And then I was like, okay, Johnna, like, you should probably grow up and learn something before you start being judgy. So I listened to a podcast that had a doctor on it, Dr. Tyna, and I love her. And she was talking about what, a peptide actually is, that it's an amino acid chain, and how there's so many people who are metabolically just a dumpster fire. So this is like tossing some water on that dumpster fire if used correctly. And so just kind of learned all of the things about GLP-1s through the year last year, and, had clients that were on it, had been on it, or were thinking about, doing it. And I know Dr. Tyna first coined the term microdosing. She got completely like shadow banned in her space. She's a functional doctor, and just berated. And then 2 months ago, we have Rebel Wilson on a commercial talking about Noom and how, oh, you can microdose. Yeah. And I thought, this is like 2 years ago, Dr. Tyna. So anyway, that's, and just what it does to the body. It is actually good for the body. The problem is in the dosing because everyone's different, and just took last year and learned about it. And then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and then my son Granger, he was like, Mom, I'm going to try Retatrutide. And I was like, okay, be careful with the dosing and all of that. And let me know. Like, we wanted to know what it looked like for him, his side effects, because the biggest thing for me is if you are showing side effects with a GLP-1, your dosage is too high. And that's what I tell my clients. Like, it's too much and you need to scale back. And so a lot of them have had like collisions with their doctor going, no, this is the right dosage. And they're like, no, it isn't, because I'm sick and my hair is falling out and, I'm wasting away, whatever that is, whatever those side effects are. As it stands right now, my thought, whether you care about, or my opinion, whether you care about that or not, is GLP-1s are a great tool, but they have to be coupled, in my opinion, with lifestyle change.
Yeah. So I think we can get into that when
Yeah.
we talk about what happened specifically with us.
Yeah.
So Granger was doing it. He started out, he jumped on it, and I don't remember, you can correct me, but I don't think he had any real side effects.
No.
Right.
I mean, then he just said that he was thirsty more, he slept well, and like obviously his appetite was less, but he did a really good job of focusing on protein during that time, if I remember correctly.
And he wasn't taking a huge dosage.
No,
either.
I don't remember his dosage, but I know he was just doing one shot a week, correct? We don't need to get into his stuff.
Right.
But anyway, so we just kind of eyeballed him and then.
And so, it seemed like it was going well. And so we were like, okay, let's investigate this a little bit more, not just take Granger's word for it, but let's dig into it. So I started doing a little research on it and found a podcast. When I had it up, I don't remember. The podcast was from a year, maybe 2 years ago, a little while ago. A mind pump. We've talked about mind pump on here several times. 3 dudes that have been in the fitness space forever, owned their own gyms, personal trainers, all that stuff. They had a guy on there named Jay Campbell, who is he's done a lot of stuff. He's written several best-selling books about different, excuse me, different hormone optimization, therapeutic peptides, all those different kinds of things. He actually, he was a competitive, I don't know if he was a competitive bodybuilder necessarily, but competitive, physical, some version of competitive physique. Thank you. That's the word. Something like that. He also, everything that he writes about, he does. So he's a self-experimenter.
Yeah.
So he's not just in theory, he's like, hey, let's try this out. Let's see how my body reacts. And so they did a fascinating episode. Talked about a lot of different things, but one of the things was Retatrutide. And he actually also mentioned the concept of microdosing. And so he talked about a lot of the benefits and a lot of the potential side effects. It's just like anything else when you start introducing new things into your body. You never fully know how your specific body is going to react to stuff. But that conversation, at least for me, was that put it over the edge that I wanted to try this.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like something interesting. And so he was basically saying, you can use it kind of like, again, any other GLP-1. There's 2 like main ideas. If you're severely overweight, it can help you drop a lot of weight. Or it can just be like, you're trying to get that last 10, 15 pounds or whatever, depending on how you want to use it. So that all being said, I decided to go on it first.
Yes, you did.
And, but I decided that I was going to take a relatively small dose. I think it was, 5, it's not milliliters.
I don't know.
5.
5.
Which is a pretty small dose.
0.5, correct?
0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. Let's not say 5.
Yeah.
Because everyone's mouth just dropped that knows how to measure that shit.
That is not small.
No, 0.5.
And decided to do the microdosing thing. Because one thing that this guy said that we had heard in other research or whatever is when you do it once a week and you take your full thing once a week, that's when you tend to have worse side effects because, it impacts you more. You're taking it all. And then it's something that gets processed out over time anyway. So like, hey, if you're taking it once a week, you might as well take it 3 times a week, a third of the dose.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it hits and it does something all at once, or it needs to be that full strength dose.
Right.
So I decided to do it just twice a week, 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't have any side effects that were super noticeable. We'll talk about what it did do in just a minute, but none of the severe cramping, none of the severe nausea or anything like that. I think that the microdosing thing really helps out with that.
Yeah.
It took a couple weeks, like the first week and a half, you don't really notice anything as far as weight or anything like that. And then I noticed, I was losing weight.
Let's talk about your appetite. Did you notice appetite suppression right away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And really what it felt like to me was I just felt full all the time. And, I didn't feel nauseous, but I definitely felt full. And then when I would eat, I felt like I overate.
Yeah.
Even if it was just, one chicken thigh.
Yeah.
It felt just that feeling of, oh, I shouldn't have had that last piece of pizza or, whatever it is. So that was the biggest side effect, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely constant feeling of full.
Yeah.
And so I had to really be intentional about actually eating.
Yeah.
Which, if you skip to the end, and then we'll come back, ultimately that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's an appetite suppressant.
Yep.
There may be some other things, I wasn't doing blood work panels or, hormone panels or whatever, any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know if there were any changes, but just anecdotally,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was the thing.
Yeah.
It was an appetite suppressant.
Yeah.
So before we get too much further, do you want to talk about when you... Hey friends, if you're getting something out of this, connect with us on our social media platforms. We're at CJ Elevated Life _ on Instagram and TikTok, and CJ Elevated Life on Facebook and X. We're answering DMs, sharing daily content, and building community with people ready for real transformation. For now, hit subscribe wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We drop 2 new episodes every week. And if this episode resonates, share it. That's how we reach more people who are ready for change. You can also find everything at cjelevatedlife.com. All right, let's keep going. You started it?
I think I started 5 weeks after you. Wasn't I 5 weeks? And I thought, okay, again, just who's the dude? Jay Campbell.
Yeah.
I can have all the opinions that I want, but I really kind of wanted to try it for myself. And so, number one, I did not like giving myself an injection. So Clint did that for me because I was not into the needle thing. I noticed appetite suppression right away. And then probably around week 5-ish, I started to notice some lightheadedness, which I just started using Celtic sea salts because my intuition told me that it was minerals. And sure enough, so that was good. I also scaled back on the dosage towards the end, but I didn't last the full 12 weeks.
Yeah, we should mention, we didn't mention that, decided to go on a 12-week cycle. And that's what this Jay Campbell mentioned, and we'd seen other places. It's not a the rest of your life thing.
No. And I guess for me, the biggest thing that I guess was fearing because of the massive appetite suppressant was that my metabolism was going to get used to being in what was starvation mode. And that's ultimately why I ended early because I just was like, I was hungry on the heavy lifting days. And when I ran that, I was only lifting really heavy twice a week. And I did notice that on those days, I definitely had more of an appetite. But on the other days, I would say if you're someone who battles with a lot of food noise, it helps with that because you're full. And I didn't like that. I, you know, it, it, I just didn't like it because I knew what it was doing metabolically, I guess, to me, right? Now, everyone's different. Everyone has different metabolic function, but I wasn't wanting to risk that.
I think it should also be noted, just because it flashed into my head. That's what this whole podcast is about. Really, just our specific experiences with it. It doesn't mean that it's going to be the same if you decide to go on it. That you're going to have the same experience, or we're not trying to advise one way or another.
Just want to be honest. Like we tried a peptide, and this is
what
happened.
Yeah.
You really have to prioritize drinking water. That's super important. I really didn't notice anything else. Yes, I lost some weight. I think I lost like 12 pounds, which now I've been off of it for a few weeks and I've probably gained 4 or 5 back. I wasn't doing it specifically to lose a bunch of weight. The thought of like, oh, that last 10 pounds could be gone. Of course, I'm not going to lie and say that wasn't awesome, but I also am not stupid enough to think that when I go off of it, all of that weight is going to just stay off. I didn't lose strength. That was the most important thing to me because as you lose weight, what's the most metabolically expensive tissue? It is muscle. And I'm not going to replace that just for a different number on the scale. It's so important to keep the muscle on. So I didn't feel weakness. So that was good. But, I guess and even like around week 8, I was like, meh, I also lowered my dosage because I didn't feel like I needed it. I don't know what week it was because I didn't document it, but I started just doing 2 injections a week. And then the next week I'd do 3 and 2 and 3. So I just kind of lowered my dose. I definitely noticed more energy. And that's pretty much, whatever. But at the end of the day, everyone who's listening to this, it's an appetite suppressant. That's what it is. And that's why you lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like so in terms of like an obese person who needs that, that thing to get them going, just like a chronically depressed person may need medication until they start doing lifestyle change, or a heroin addict might need, what's that, methadone?
Yeah.
To get off of heroin. It's kind of like that because honestly, overeating, I think, is an addiction. And if you need that thing to kind of help propel you forward, then, awesome, in my opinion. But it's not a forever thing. And the thing that concerns me is that because it's such an appetite suppressant, if you're not coupling it with building your metabolic health at the same time, you're going to go off of it. And then what's going to happen? You're going to rapid fire gain weight because all of a sudden I will say that my appetite hasn't fully, I haven't been eating as much as I was pre-Retatrutide. I feel like that something biologically has happened in that food noise space.
And there are claims with Retatrutide that are different than some of the other GLP-1s, because I'm not going to get into all the science because mostly it would be just me reading a whole bunch of shit. But it's more than just like an Ozempic GLP-1. It's got some other components to it that are supposed to be more long-term, even when you go off of it.
Yeah.
I would say I have not noticed that.
Yeah.
I was pretty, well, I guess when I was on it, just speaking to the strength piece of it, I did feel a little weaker.
Yeah.
Not significantly, but a little bit. And I would attribute that mostly just to not eating.
Enough.
You know,
Yeah.
I just wasn't eating enough. It also, and Johnna and I talked about this quite a bit as it was happening, and then when we got off of it, it's an easy crutch.
Oh, for sure.
And not have to be as focused on nutrition because you're not eating very much and you're not gaining weight. I think I ended up losing 28 pounds.
Yeah. And how much have you gained back?
10.
Yeah.
Roughly, nowhere to give or take.
But the funny part is that I don't think your body composition has changed.
No,
I mean, you feel like your body composition, do you feel like you gained 10 pounds of fat back?
No. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Because I feel like I definitely got my appetite back. And I felt like because I've been off it now like a month.
Yeah.
And I felt like the last few weeks I've felt as strong as I've ever felt.
Yeah.
So I have more energy or more strength.
Yeah.
To lift. I also see. I had something else. I forgot it. I'm gonna say. Yeah, I don't remember, but what I was gonna say is it's very, very evident that if you're.
I just realized that I don't have my thing plugged in. Okay, keep talking.
Oh, we'll see if
I know. This is such a Johnna move.
We might not have any microphone.
Okay, keep talking. I didn't mean to. I don't even think.
Oh, there she goes, and she's back.
Okay.
All right.
Hopefully this.
Yeah, we'll see how the sound goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's
good thing I'm a loudmouth.
It's a great opportunity to develop or redevelop or whatever your relationship with food because you're just not eating very much if you're very intentional about it, because most likely some level of appetite's going to come back, and which is good. Yeah. I mean, because you can't live in that deficit forever. No. We talk about that all the time. But if you use it to rewire, if it's like, okay, I'm not going to be having all these weird cravings and wanting to just stuff my face full of food while I'm on it. So I need to eat, good, clean protein and all those things. And then when you get off and your appetite is back, sticking with that. Yeah, that can be a huge benefit.
Yeah, I think it's great when coupled with a lifestyle change. And this goes for any GLP-1. Number one, if you're interested in doing the GLP-1 thing, I would really suggest listening to Dr. Tyna. She has a podcast. She's on Instagram. She knows her shit. She's been researching and dealing with GLP-1s for a very long time. And that's who I learned all of my things from. If you are considering doing this or you're currently on it, what I would suggest, if you care, is it has to be coupled with a lifestyle change because you can't be on it for the rest of your life. And what's going to happen when you go off and, all of a sudden you didn't change anything, that's going to be tragic. Also, I would consider the microdosing, right? That and listening to your body. If you're not feeling right, then back off on your dose. I knew, because I'm sensitive to everything, that even whatever we were taking was eventually going to be too much. And that turned out to be true.
Yeah.
I do think for those people who, this is for the more advanced person, advanced in their, they know how to cut and they know how to bulk. I think that this is a great tool when you're doing those 4 to 6 week cuts. Right? So when I think about the cut bulk cycle, I think, okay, now that I know what my dose should be, because I was a guinea pig, I will start way more scaled back. And when I want to do those 6 week cuts before I bulk, it might be a good tool in the future.
Totally.
Maybe. Agree. I might do it again. I might not. I'm really, the next peptide I want to do is NAD. That's something that I want to do next. So we just wanted to be honest and transparent with you guys and also use ourselves as guinea pigs in this world of peptides where they're all over the place. And, I just had a lady message me last week that's a follower on Instagram that was like, Johnna, what do you think about, all these peptides and people shooting themselves up? And I told her exactly what I just told you. It's a really good tool for someone who is in crisis with their health because of obesity and diabetes and all those things. But it has to be coupled with lifestyle change, in my opinion. If you choose not to do that, okay, then later on, you're going to have something else to deal with. And the science is out there. That's not like just a Johnna-ism, right?
Yeah. There's your quick fix that leads to a quick failure.
Oh, no kidding. And a big quick failure.
I also, as we're wrapping up, I would be remiss if I did not explicitly say part of that lifestyle change has to be resistance training.
Yeah, you have to build metabolic tissue.
Yeah, it has to be. That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Because all you're going to do, like we've already kind of referenced, all you're going to do is lose your muscle.
Yeah, first.
And then if you haven't made those lifestyle changes, when you get your appetite back, you're just replacing it with fat potentially.
Yeah, for sure. Because your body is used to running off of under 1,000 calories. It's just like my anorexia story.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you introduce more calories, your body's like, we've been starving ourselves for this long. I need to pack it on. So anyway, that was our experience. It was good, right? I mean, I didn't do the full cycle because I didn't want to and I didn't feel like I needed to. And maybe I'll do it in the future. Maybe I won't, but I have some other peptides that I want to try before that. And at the end of the day, it's an appetite suppressant. Yeah. And I didn't get any of the pukey side effects. Like, here's the thing. Like, I like to be optimal with the way I feel. So had I gotten any kind of those whatever side effects, I would have been like, I was a little belchy. I just remembered. I was a little belchy after, like day one of the dosage, which is weird for me.
It's like one burp a day.
Because I'm not a belcher or a farter. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, that's our experience with Retatrutide. Nothing like insane over the top, but definitely something to consider if you want to couple it with lifestyle change. Yeah. So if you have any other questions, you can message Clint about this one because I had him do all of the research on this. I didn't do any.
Yeah. Or if you've had an experience with it.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
And we'll talk to you soon.